Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Filbert Flies. I hope you're all well. Feels like it's been a very long time since I've done a stream, and it's good to be back in the hot seat. So today we are flying the Cessna Citation CJ4 with the working title mod from London City to Innsbruck in Austria. And the weather's looking pretty good. A little bit of snow on the ground over there, but relatively few clouds. Not too strong a wind. So I'm feeling relatively positive. On the other hand, I have just finished nights and I've had about 4 hours sleep, so it could all still go wrong despite of the glorious flying conditions. Anyway, let's get started. Hello Weird Stuff, hello Liam, and hello anyone else who has arrived, who I've missed. It's nice to see you all. So, CJ4, what do we do here? I know what we do here, because I have my checklist. So we'll turn on the battery switch first of all. We'll turn the avionics switch to dispatch. And we'll start setting up the FMC. So we'll start with the pos init page and copy our position down here. And then we'll go to index and next and route menu, and I'll import our flight plan route from SimBrief. Oh, Kaffel, I'm sorry. Sorry I left you hanging. It took me quite a long time to get over the fact that my internet connection messed up and I had to abandon the shared cockpit flight. That was a real bummer because, yeah, Kevin and I had been waiting a long time to do that. So, yeah, and then I had to go to work quite a lot. But anyway, I'm here now, and we have 4 days and 4 streams. Hello, Andrea. Nice to see you. Yeah, very nice to have you here. Thank you, Hydramir. And hello, Ramsey. And yes, this is the Orbex scenery. So you'll notice that our flight plan route has imported from SimBrief, and all we have to do really is add our departure for now. Now let me just double check the weather here in City. We definitely had a wind from the west before, but I'll check that hasn't changed. No, 230 at 14 knots. And if I go back to my flight plan, our departure is going to be the ECNIV 1 Alpha. From runway 27. There it is. Press execute. Go to the legs page. Check for any discontinuities. So we've got 2 ECNIVs which we don't really need, so I'll delete one of those. Execute again. And that's our flight plan initially sorted out. You'll notice that it's imported the altitude constraints. So for this departure we need to be between 1,110 feet and 3,000 feet when we get to this waypoint, LCW1, which is just is 1.5 nautical miles to the west of the airport on runway heading. And then we're going to make a right turn to LCN02, another right turn to LCN06. And for these first 2 turns, we want to be at 210 knots. Now, because we have no auto throttle in this aircraft, there's not a huge amount of point putting the 210 in, but I like to do it for completeness and so that if I happen to glance down there during the manic takeoff, I will remember it. Can you make a channel for the people who want to do shared controls? Yeah, I could. Why not? Just to put people together, you mean? Yeah, why the hell not? I don't have time to do much more in the way of shared controls myself, but there's no reason why others shouldn't. I'm going to change this display using the lower menu to present position. Which will show us our route, and as you can see, up to there, turn right, that's the start of it. I'm going to turn on some lights. So we'll turn on the nav and logo lights, we'll turn on the seatbelt sign and the safety sign.
May I have your attention, please? At this time, please comply with the illuminated seatbelt and no smoking signs.
We have no air traffic control on here at the moment, but there is some Eurocontrol West on, so hopefully we'll be able to talk to them not too long after takeoff. And we'll go through the before start checklist. So battery switch is on, emergency light switch is armed, standby flight display switch is on, avionics switch is set to dispatch, parking brake is set, wheel chocks are removed because we don't have any, cabin door, nah, there isn't one, is there? Oh, actually, it probably means the external door. Yes, that is closed. Passenger briefing we haven't done, so let's run that now. So we'll do the long takeoff brief.
May I have your attention, please? Welcome aboard.
And I'll just talk over him. Seats, belts and pedals adjusted and secure. Exterior lights set. We'll turn on the strobe light though because we are about to push back. ICAS. Check. FMS check and set. Climate control selector off. So before start checklist complete. You're wondering if the Orbex scenery is very FPS hungry. I haven't found it any more FPS hungry than anywhere else, to be honest. I've got a 1080 Ti, and yeah, I get the odd stutter, but I do in most places. Yes, I saw Sandefjord was out. I might have to take a look at that. I've got quite a long list of reviews to be getting on with, but yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Seats must be in the upright and outboard position, and your headrest.
Right, so if we go to the tuning page now on the MCDU, we'll set our transponder to 2000, which is the default for IFR, and we'll tune 122.8 for Unicom. And we'll tune the Eurocontrol West frequency in the standby, because that is most likely to be the next frequency we tune. So there we are. Once the briefing has played, we should be ready to push back. I definitely think the CJ4 is more complex than the A320, but I'm not sure if that's just because I haven't been flying it for as long, or if it is actually harder. It's certainly got more systems depth. You can do RNAV approaches in it, which is very exciting, and will probably be what we're doing today. And that doesn't work properly on the A320 yet. Good afternoon, Dazza. Nice to see you. How are things?
Adjust masks by pulling the elastic straps and breathe normally. Don your mask prior to assisting.
So I've actually, because I'm not as confident in the CJ4, I've got lots of paperwork in front of me. I've got the quick reference checklist. I've also got on my iPad the full guide which Working Title have produced, which is not complete yet, but it's still a pretty good guide to what you should be doing and when. And between these, if I remember to look at the right thing at the right time, hopefully all will be well.
Exit the cabin by stepping through the opening onto the wing and continue forward off the wing. The main entry door, which you use to enter the aircraft, may also be used as an emergency exit. To open the main entry door, first push in on the inner paddle located
Okay,
above the inner handle.
I'm sort of stalling a little bit here to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I don't think I have. So we may as well stick the strobe light on, sorry, the beacon light on, and push back.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
Yeah, it's very jittery, isn't it, Hydromere? I find exactly the same. And again, I don't know if that's something I should be tweaking my sensitivity settings for, or if it's just lack of practice. But yeah, it is hard to land smoothly.
For information on the location and use of fire extinguishers,
come on, man, we haven't got all day.
Or survival equipment, refer to your passenger briefing card or consult your.
You are cleared behind and you start your engines at your discretion.
And what we'll do is we'll get the pushback done first, because it's really, really fast. I don't know why, but when you're pushing back in a little aircraft like this, it does go incredibly fast.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the right with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Okay,
Thanks.
So we'll run the
flight.
start checklist now. Throttles are idle. We'll push the engine starter button for the right engine. And we'll turn on the engine run stop button. And we'll monitor the engine start up here. You can see the N2% rising there, the N1%. And we're checking the ITT for a rise, which should happen shortly. Oh, good grief, Desra, I don't envy you that. That's, that is a headache. I honestly don't think I could remember anything I did after the age of about 13 in maths. And I wasn't bad at maths. It just disappears, doesn't it? Yeah, but I just wonder, Hydramir, if you need different sensitivity settings for this aircraft to the A320, because I'm the same. I can butter the Neo. I can get this down, but yeah, I'd call it crunchy peanut butter at best. Right, so engine 2 is online. We'll start engine 1, the left engine. Same procedure, very straightforward. Push 2 buttons and monitor it up here. I am getting a few stutters today in the sim. I don't know why. I've decided to just live with it rather than panic about restarting everything before the stream at the last minute. No. It must be tough, Dazza. I got the feeling you'd be quite patient though. I don't know why, and that's half the battle. Right, so both engines are started. The ICAS looks good. External power we weren't connected to anyway, so that's fine. Electrical system all looks good to me. Yes, the amps should be at -22-ish if I remember rightly. So before taxi checklist, we'll turn on the avionics switch. We'll turn the climate control selector to normal. Passenger light safety button on. Yes, it already is. Trims. So we just need to check and set the aileron and rudder trim are at 0. And we just need to adjust the elevator trim so it is slightly more nose up. So it should be in that green band there. So that's looking good now. Flight controls should be free and correct. And we can't see out the window, but we'll just give them a wiggle. They feel good. I can hear some rattling. The rudder's absolutely fine. Engine only anti-ice. No, I've jumped ahead. Speed brake and ground spoilers. I will check them shortly. King of Noobs, thank you for the sub. Welcome to the channel. And that reminds me, anyone who hasn't subscribed yet, would be doing me a massive favour if you did that now. Speed brake and ground spoilers are retracted. Flaps, we'll set flaps 15 for takeoff. Hydraulic pressure checked. Engine only anti-ice, we'll turn that on because we're going through some cloud. Takeoff data, we'll do that right now. So, performance, takeoff, runway 27.
Landing at runway 27 left.
And we'll put in the METAR data. So, wind is 230 at 14. Temperature is 9. QNH is 986. And that gives us a pressure altitude of 826 feet. And it's calculated our takeoff speeds. V1 is 81, VR is 87, V2 is 104. I'll just set the local pressure before I forget. And you'll notice at the moment that the speeds on the tape here are all at 0. But when we click send, and it's complete, there they are. So you could also input these manually if you wanted to, but that's quite a nice feature. I like it. I don't know why I particularly like it, but I do. Check our takeoff weight. So our takeoff weight is going to be 4618 and the maximum 7761. So we've got plenty of room to play with. Okay, so that's our takeoff data set. Avionics now. So we've got no ATC. So what we're going to do is set an altitude. Our cruising altitude is very high today, flight level 450. And because we're going to be using VNav, we can tune in flight level 450 right now, and the aircraft will keep us within the constraints on our SID. So that's handy. I'm going to engage VNav now. Flight directors first. And you notice we've got roll mode and V pitch. So our vertical mode is V pitch, but instead I want to use V flight level change with a speed of 240 knots. And I'm also going to arm nav mode. So now we have LNAV1 V flight level change. Let me just check what I've missed in the chat. How long have I been flying? Oh, very long time. About 20 years now, since FS95. Try your best to be patient. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine that's virtually impossible. Hello, Jay. Nice to see you. Ahmed, hello. I haven't been streaming late. Well, I've had 5 days off, I think, Ahmed. I've been on nights. Come fly with me simulations. Welcome. Nice to see you again. How can you talk in-game and talk to the air traffic control? I use VATSIM, which is an online ATC network, infamous gamer. If you Google VATSIM, you'll find out more about it. There's a little test to do. And, yeah, it's great. It makes it a lot more realistic. Okay, back to the checklists. Autopilot is disconnected. Altimeter has been set to 996. Pressurization, verify and set. ICAS check, all looks good. Aft divider doors latched open. Well, we'll assume the crew's done that, eh? Right, taxi checklist, exterior lights. We will turn on the taxi light. Brakes, apply and hold. Parking brake release, check the brakes, check the nose wheel steering, and check the flight instruments. Cool. Let's get going. Oh, but just before we do, I'll get a little bit of black backlighting, panel brightness in there. And I think we're good to go. So I'll just announce on Unicom what our taxi route is once I've remembered what they call the taxiways here. City traffic, Citation Golf Foxtrot Lima Bravo Tango, taxiing from West Apron to holding point Foxtrot via Yankee. And we seem to have an aircraft on final there as well. Jason, hello. No need to apologise. You've not missed much. Interestingly, at this airport, the taxiway centre lines don't line up with the taxiway centre line lights. I
London City traffic, VBird 058 runway vacated.
Now, I'm not too sure which way he's going.
Eastern traffic, speedbird 9260 is lining up 27 left on November Bravo 3.
Roger.
Oh, this is a KLM A318, is it? Okay, cool. We'll just give him a little bit of room. Oh, I see you're looking at the static. I was wondering what this arrived aircraft is. Let me just have a quick look at VATSPY, because I'm always quite interested in these things. This is CPA 38 from Milan. Have I tried Rex? No, I haven't tried Rex. They were going to send me a press copy for review once they fixed a few initial bugs, but I didn't receive it, so I find the live weather's getting better all the time, and I've got Unreal Weather installed as a backup, so yeah, I'm not particularly fussed about trying Rex at the moment. Good afternoon, LDR. Welcome. Nice to see you. How old was I when I started flight simming? About 14, 15, something like that. City traffic, Citation Golf, Foxtrot Lima Bravo Tango, backtrack and line up runway 27. So we'll just turn on our strobe lights, because we're entering the runway. Check the approach path, doesn't seem to be anything coming. And to be honest, if they haven't announced they're coming on Unicom, it's their lookout, isn't it? Right, and while we're taking a slow backtrack along the runway, I'm going to look at the before takeoff checklist. Ice protection system set, rudder bias system checked, seats upright and outboard, yeah, sure. Flaps set and check, we got flaps 15 set, speed brake 0, trims checked, crew briefing complete, TCAS, haven't done that. TARA. Radar.
Good afternoon, London City traffic. Luxair 460 is at gate 5, stand 5, going to be push and start.
Is that on weather?
Luxair 460, yes. London City traffic.
Don't push, mate. You're pushing at the terminal.
Very good. Right, radar's on, battery amps, verify 20 or less. Yes, we've already checked that. Ice protection systems, we've got engine only anti-ice on.
And maybe whoever just responded to me pushing back, maybe you know, is it normal for the aircraft here in London City to face north?
Yes, mate, that's the way London City works because it's so small.
Copy. I've never seen a simulator do that before, so I was just making sure.
Oh, lots of chat.
You
lots
just
of chat
like
on the Unicom.
the guy next to me. You just start up and then you taxi out.
Perfect, that's what I thought. Thanks, appreciate it. Luxair 460.
Okay, pitot static heat on. Exterior lights. We'll turn off the taxi light and turn on the landing lights for takeoff. ICAS looks fine. Okay, so what we're going to do for the takeoff is we're going to go to full toga power. We're going to check the N1 command bugs. We're going to rotate at VR, obviously. And I've just realised I meant to set this to 210 for the initial turn. My bad. And we're going to V2 plus 10 knots. We're going to retract the gear and the flaps and then engage the yaw damper and switch to climb at 1,000 feet. Right, I'll just announce my intentions. City traffic, Citation, Golf Foxtrot Lima Bravo Tango, taking off runway 27, ECNIV 1 Alpha departure. Let's go. Like a rocket, V1, rotate. Oh, it's veering over to the left rather a lot.
Maintain
10 degrees nose up. There's V2. There's V2 plus 10. Flaps up, gear up. Engage the yaw damper.
Go ahead.
1,000 feet. climb thrust.
Look down the runway, see if there's
Make our right turn.
US 490, we are looking.
And we'll engage the autopilot as we turn, because that won't go wrong. No, it didn't. Good. And we're going to manage our throttle to maintain 210 knots.
US 249 runway is clear. No worries.
And I will catch up with the chat once things start going a little bit more smoothly.
Traffic after the company.
And just beyond these reservoirs here is my house, for those of you who are interested. And we're a little on the fast side, as you can see. But you know, we're a biz jet, we can do what we like. So because we are in VNAV mode, we should start climbing again once we pass the last waypoint, which has a constraint, which will be Sodvu. So for now we're just going to have to pootle along at 210 knots or less. And I think all's going alright now. Good. Right, landing in Innsbruck won't be easy. No, it won't be that easy. Although, as Jason says, the winds aren't too bad. The visibility isn't too bad. So hopefully it'll be sort of okay. What do I use for track IR? I have an actual track IR V5. Will there be snow in Innsbruck? It's not actively snowing, but last time I was there was some snow on the ground. So yeah, hopefully there will still be. So there's, actually no, I'm pointing at my screen as if you can see my finger. Isn't that ridiculous? Here is London City Airport, where we've left. Obviously the River Thames on our right. And we're heading out towards the Thames Estuary by this departure. And then we'll be making a turn to the south, back over the Thames shortly. And joining our flight plan. Okay, we can go up to 250 knots now. Yeah. So the thing that I forgot to do after takeoff there was to trim. You need to change your trim pretty rapidly in this plane. So you'll have noticed quite some pretty major pitch deviations, which wouldn't have been particularly comfortable for the poor old passengers. But yes, there we are. As I say, I know this aircraft a lot less than I know the A320, so I'm still learning.
London City traffic, Lux Air 460 is going to be taxiing to holding point Charlie, runway 27, Lux Air 460, London City traffic.
And I'm going to preempt the first request for wing views by giving you this. Can I do flight NZ613 from Auckland to Queenstown? Depends on scenery. Do we have an Auckland yet? I know Flightbeam were going to be bringing one out. But if there is scenery and it's a flight I can do in an A320, then yeah, I don't see why not. I'll add it to the list to have a think about.
25 Alpha Whiskey, rolling 27.
So as you can see, we're approaching the Thames Estuary. And because there's no air traffic control on, we could in theory abort the star and just climb and proceed to wherever we want, but sorry, the SID. But I thought it might be nice to follow it realistically. It's rated as the most beautiful flight. Okay, okay. And is it flown in an A320, Hydromir, do you know?
London City traffic, Luxair 460 is going to be back taxiing runway.
I'm typing it as we speak. NZ613, Auckland to Queenstown. Right, it's on the list to think about. So actually we have to maintain 3000 until ECNIV. I was a little bit premature in talking about climbing. Hello Mason Jason Aviation. I can't remember if I've already greeted you or not because I'm very tired, but if I haven't, welcome. And if I have, welcome again. We are flying, so all of the departure and arrival routes in and around London are designed so that you don't get in the way of other airports' traffic. Excellent, A320. Right, okay, I'll definitely look into it. This is Tilbury Docks over here. And there is the sea. You notice that you can import a flight plan from the sim. You need to put it your own. How do you mean you need to put it your own? You can import a flight plan from the sim, yeah, or you can import a flight plan from SimBrief. I believe the sim import doesn't work terribly well. I'm not certain on that, but that's the impression I've got from looking at the Working Title Discord. That SimBrief import works flawlessly, and Microsoft Flight Simulator import works sort of, but still needs a little bit of work. Oh, that sounds fun, Steve. I'm going to look into this. Is Queenstown the one that's one of the default handcrafted airports, or am I misremembering? Now, if visibility is slightly better than it is today, you can actually see London from this point still, I think. Helps if you look up the right river. This is the Thames here. I'm not sure what this is. Jason, you're my geography expert. Okay, so we're now free to climb. Got no more altitude constraints. So once again, we're going to enter flight level change. And I would expect it now to climb to flight level 450, but it isn't for some reason. Curious. Is it possibly because I haven't added power yet? Yes, that's why. So if we go up to the climb detent, then it should select a pitch attitude which will keep us at around about 240 knots, which is the optimal climb speed for this aircraft. Yes, that's all I needed to do. Add a little power. Ah, good. So Flightbeam are definitely bringing out Auckland for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And because it's Flightbeam, it will be awesome. I don't know if we have a release date yet. I might try and get a feel for how well they're progressing. Because I do prefer flying between airports with decent scenery, so if it's a question of waiting a few months, I might do that. Yeah, I seem to remember doing a little bit of bimbling around that area in the Cessna, sort of as soon as the sim was released, when I was checking out the various handcrafted airports, and it was hard. I haven't done an airliner flight into or out of there, but yeah, I'm game. We'll give it a go. I'm going to switch to wing and engine anti-ice, because this being Microsoft Flight Simulator, the whole thing will just ice up as soon as it gets a sniff of cloud. You can see the climb performance at these altitudes is really impressive. So we're doing just over 4,000 feet per minute. And we're over 10,000 feet. So there's two things I should have done that I haven't. The first is to set standard pressure, because we're above the transition altitude of 6,000 feet. And the second, I'm not particularly late doing, but I'll do it now, is to turn off the landing lights, and we'll turn off the seat belts as well. And while we're climbing through cloud and there isn't much to see, this seems like a good point to just let you all know how you can support the channel if you choose to. So if you want to make a little donation, you can use the Streamlabs donate link, which is in the video description. It's just streamlabs.com/philbertflies. If you want to make a regular donation in return for some perks, you can now become a channel member, which means for a small monthly fee, you get access to the special members-only channel on my Discord server. We've got 2 tiers, so everyone gets that, and everyone gets special icons and emojis for use in YouTube. And if you join Club Filbert Silver, you get a monthly private live stream in addition to that. The first one is on Sunday, so it's not too late, and we're flying from Vienna down to Skiathos for that. And that's it. That's my little plug for giving me money, and I won't mention it again. But if you don't want to give me money, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Yeah, no, I believe you can import from the simulator, Jason. Oh, thanks, Hydromir. Oh, I know, William. That, yeah, that Malpensa is the worst airport I've ever reviewed. Queenstown's a big ski resort, so lots of direct flights from Australia too. Awesome. Yeah, we should do some flying down under. That would be good. I wonder if you can fly there from Sydney, because I've got the, as you probably know, I've got the flight temp to Sydney, but I haven't done any flying from there. And when we reach 0.66 Mach, the aircraft should automatically switch to hold that rather than our indicated airspeed of 240. Which is as it should be. You're right, Kaffel, I should. I used a very rough and ready emoji designer for the custom emojis I've done so far. And I think that might be about the limit of my skills. But yeah, if I could do a wing view one, that would be cool. So yeah, you saw how I imported the SimBrief plan, Jason. There's an option just above that to import the Microsoft Flight Simulator plan. Actually, you probably didn't, did you? Because you're a bit late. I'll show you where that is. So if you go to index, I assume it works in the air, I'm not sure. Index, next, route menu. Sorry, it's the option below. So you've got flight plan recall, sim brief, and flight plan recall game. So I just click this button and it imported the sim brief flight plan. I believe if you click this button, it'll import whatever you planned in the world map screen. Are we going to have any wing flex? I don't know. Let's have a little look through the views. The wings might be a bit short on this to have any visible flex. I'm not sure. So I've done the after takeoff climb checklist silently, and it's all good, in case anyone was worrying. So on the reviews side of things, you've probably noticed I've had a little breather after Malpensa because I hated doing the review. But on the list are Islamabad, Faro, Bastia Paretta, Stockholm Skavsta, and Izmir as well in Turkey. So those will be the next big airport reviews. These are not custom views, Hydromir. You can access them two ways. So either you go to the camera menu and then showcase and then fixed camera. This is external 10. This is external 9. This is external 11, which I don't know why they've put this in, but anyway. And so on and so forth. So if you're in the drone view mode, actually this is a custom thing I've got. I've got a button set on my joystick to toggle between the two views. I don't even know what you'd call it. Oh, hello, we've got a bit of traffic behind us, looking rather close. Yeah, so you can toggle that way as well, and then use A and Shift A to cycle between them. But yeah, plenty of wing exposure to come. Faro has got a new scenery. Yes, I haven't had a look at it yet, but yeah. So I misremembered it's 0.64 Mach that we want to be climbing at. Yeah, me too, Jason. I'm certainly not master of it just yet, but I'm enjoying the process. It's fun. And what I love about it is, for someone with OCD like me about only flying real-world airline routes, it gives me a lot of freedom. I can fly wherever I want. I think they're part of the default plane as well, Hydromir. You sure you don't have them? I thought I didn't, and on the A320, and Caffel had to point out that you have to scroll down. So under showcase, free camera is the drone mode, and under fixed camera, you can scroll down to them. Should be able to anyway. Yeah, it's coming fast. Well, of course, all the airliners are going to be climbing at rather more than 0.64 Mach, I imagine. Never mind. Perhaps they've overtaken us. Yeah, nowhere to be seen now. Oh yes, there they are. They're below us now. And that, of course, is the beauty of flying at flight level 450. There's very little other traffic at that sort of altitude. Yes, I'll definitely review Gaia Simulation Stansted when it comes out, for sure. I'm excited about that one. No problem, Hydromir. Yeah, for sure, I will review the CRJ. I've been thinking about that, and obviously I've never done an aircraft review before, so I think I'll spend a little bit of time flying it first. I'll certainly do some streams in it, probably even before I know what I'm doing. so you can all come and watch me flounder as I try and fly the thing for the first few times. And then maybe once I've flown it for a few weeks, I'll get onto a review of it. But what I don't want to do is just rush into it and try and review it without having flown the thing first. So as we get higher, you'll notice that because the air's thinner, our rate of climb drops considerably. So we were climbing at 4,000 feet a minute, and now we're doing about 1,800. I think it's Tropical Sim who developed Faro. My gut feeling about Faro, based only on the pictures, is that it's going to be alright, a little bit average perhaps, but it's the first airport I ever flew to in the real world, so I'm keen to have it unless it's awful, and it certainly doesn't look awful. But yeah, I'd be interested in your thoughts actually on streaming the CJ4, because I'm a little bit unsure whether I should just get it and do a stream as I learn how to fly it, or whether I should wait a little bit until I can actually fly it properly and then stream it with a bit of confidence. I think it might be fun to watch me flounder, and I'm happy to do it that way, but it also might be a bit boring. I don't know. What do you reckon? Not long now till the UK update. Indeed, I'm very excited about that, particularly for bimbles around Britain. I mean, we know some of what they're adding. They're doing Manchester Barton, which we landed at on one of the bimbles. They're adding Liverpool, and they're adding, what's that, Barra in Scotland, so you'll be able to land on the beach. Can't remember what else. How much is the CRJ expected to cost? Off the top of my head, I think it was about £40–50 for the base package, which gives you 1 or 2 models, and then there's like a £20 or £30 upgrade for the 900, is it? They have actually said how much it's going to cost, so I just can't remember exactly, but if you Google it, you'll find it, I'm sure. Do you have to alter the FLC when you cruise? So FLC just is purely for climbs and descents. So you set the speed you want, and it will give you a rate of climb to keep that speed. Once you're at cruise, because there's no auto throttle, you have to monitor your speed and adjust it manually. Yeah, it's my closest airport as well, Echo. Can't be any worse than MXP, absolutely. Always fun to watch people flounder. Good, I'll do that then. Your EGGP evidence, please. Did you design it? It's exciting if so. Or do you just mean it's your local airport? Okay, alright, Jason, I will. That's sold. Oh, no worries, evidence, please. No worries. It's great. I really, really like that digital design version. I think whoever it is who's doing the one in the sim will struggle to beat it. But I do also feel sorry for him because, you know, it's unfortunate to release an airport that's coming out for free a month later or something. Yeah, I want the CRJ now as well. Been waiting a while. There's going to be a freeware 737, is there? Who's doing that? I hadn't heard about that. Ah, okay, right, yeah, good. Yeah. You haven't plumped for the digital design one yourself then, evidence please. Just going to have a quick look at VATSPY to see if we... Oh dear, all of the Eurocontrol people have gone offline. Never mind. Maybe someone will come online in Innsbruck between now and when we arrive. This is the trouble with streaming in the afternoon, of course. There's rarely much ATC on. But I know it works for me, and it seems to work for a lot of you lot, so just one of those things, I guess. Oh, right, okay, yes, I do have a vague memory of that. There's so much FS news at the moment, I can't keep up. Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. I had it for P3D, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. And in this sim, it just looks absolutely fantastic. I think the night lighting was a bit overdone or something in P3D. I can't remember. Can't remember what I didn't like about it. But don't get me wrong, it was good. It just wasn't amazing, in my opinion. Yes, I'm excited about that as well. I still can't get over just what they've managed to achieve with this fly-by-wire mod in such a short space of time. Yeah, I'd love a north wheeled scenery as well. That's if I do. I mean, I'm waiting till COVID is over, but I do want to have another go at doing my PPL, and that is top of my list of places to train. Set the QNH 1007 for Salzburg 30 minutes before landing after the transition altitude. However, at 5,000 feet, you were at 2,500 feet. How do you mean? So do you mean as you change the pressure setting, you mean? I mean, that's to be expected. That's quite... So you'd be changing from 1013 to 1007. That is quite a jump, isn't it, actually? Yeah, I can't explain that really. Do you know, I've never actually listened to their streams. I should do. But yeah, the way they're running this is incredible. There have been so many sort of freeware projects in the past that have just collapsed because people have fallen out, or you know, they were lacking the required skill set or whatever. And yeah, it's impressive. It's really impressive. I'm pretty sure I'd read that it was going to be freeware, Josh. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it is. I'd have to have a good read back for months of chat on their Discord server, but I'm sure it's going to be freeware. In fact, I even seem to remember them talking about, you know, it's not going to be approved by Airbus because that would cost money, and they don't have money because it's a freeware project. But I think they just do it for the love of it. So when cruising, we want to be below Mach 0.77 in this aircraft, and obviously we also want to be below the overspeed line, which is lower than Mach 0.77. So I'm just adjusting the throttles to try and keep the speed steady at about, I don't know, 205, 210. Yeah, it just goes to show, Ajamir, there is, well, there's a lot of rubbish that people charge a lot of money for. I can't speak for the A380 for X-Plane because I've never actually used it, but yeah, we are, so it's a great time to be simming for sure. Shall we have a little look at the flight plan route? I think that might be nice around about now. So here's my Navigraph window, and as you can see, coming from London, we are inbound to Comob at the moment, so we're somewhere over Belgium. Going to be flying over Luxembourg, and then into Germany, and then southeast into Austria, and we're planning for a runway 08 RNAV arrival. But we'll see what everyone else is up to when we get nearer, and we'll see if the wind changes, and we may have to change to a 26 arrival. Last time I flew in there were a variety of aircraft using both runways, which is not ideal, I feel. Anyway, we'll see. See how we feel when we get there. Yeah, 50 knots of sort of cross/tailwind, 45 degrees to the aircraft or so. It's often very windy up here. Oh, and watch me airspeed. This is the thing, when you're used to auto throttle, you look away for a minute and all of a sudden you're overspeeding. It takes some getting used to. But good practice for the CRJ, of course, which also has no auto throttle. I don't know, Jason. I think they're much of a muchness, really. They're still following an RNAV profile down through the valley. I'm not sure. My last few arrivals have been on 26, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to do a 08 arrival. The forecast is for winds from the east, so I'd like to think we might have a little bit of wind, so we can make an informed decision rather than just guessing by the time we get there. Ah yes, it has changed, and we do have a wind from the east, so 030 at 10 knots, gusting to 21 knots at the moment. Scattered clouds at flight at 12,000, few clouds at 6,000. Got a wind shear warning, and temporary winds 100 at 15, gusting to 30. So it's all quite changeable at the moment there. 11 degrees though, that's incredible. It was -7 a couple of days ago. I haven't heard any updates on the CRJ. My understanding is that the Aerosoft marketing team have got very involved and have asked people to stop giving updates on the forum. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's been pretty quiet for a while. But then again, I have just done 5 nights, so I may have missed something. We also now have a progress page here, so we can see roughly how long until our destination. We're expected to be landing in about 45 minutes. 667. No, I thought that was our distance. 334 nautical miles to go. It is a nice looking plane, this one, isn't it? There you are, a little bit more wing action for you. Oh yes, so I added a sort of a semi-transparent black bar underneath the the overlay at the top to try and make it easier to read. And I'd like your opinion on that. Does it help, or does it just take up a bit too much screen? I just know when you're sort of looking at clouds and things, it can be a bit hard to read the white text. How do the memory buttons work? I used to know this, I can't remember. But I know that you can set up your displays how you want them. So for example, I always switch to present position on this display. And I have all of the engine indications up, and you can save that somehow, but I can't remember how. Hello, new boy. What helps? It's time for my in-flight snack, I think. I've got a bit of shortbread here with been waiting to eat for an appropriate moment. I'm going to do that now. Ah, the bar at the top helps. Brilliant, thank you. This is the trouble with the 30+ second lag on YouTube. I forget what I've asked by the time people answer. Good, I'm glad it looks alright. You're not supposed to have weather radar on when you're on the ground, when you're near the terminal building or people. But once you're away from the apron and either on a taxiway next to the runway or on the runway, you can put it on, and you should have it on for takeoff. Right, I finished my shortbread now, I can elaborate on that. So, because of the radio waves, they can be damaging to people who are on the ground. But once you're away from the terminals, you're alright. And don't worry about putting me on the spot, Jason. I'm the first to... I'm choking on shortbread now. This was a bad choice of snack. Hold on. That's better. Yes, I'm happy to admit when I don't know stuff. Especially in this aircraft, because I'm quite new to it. Oh, okay, roll on it. Let's give it a go. Oh, that's done it. There you are. Thanks, Roland. That was very easy. I've obviously saved some in the past, unless there are defaults. So this must be... don't know. Is it plan mode? Probably plan mode. Cool. That's very useful. One less thing to do next time I set it up. Okay, I think we may as well start setting up our arrival. There's still no sign of any ATC online, I don't think. Let's just double check that spy. No. So yeah, we can put in our planned star. We can always change it if need be. So we're going to be following the Madeb 1 Bravo arrival. And we're going to be doing the RNAV Zulu to run. Oh no, hang on, we're doing 8, aren't we? RNAV Zulu runway 8. And we'll execute that. We'll check the legs, and you'll notice that we've now got a top of descent calculated for us. So LMEM here is the final waypoint of our star, and we do indeed need to be at 13,000 feet or above. It's a very short star, it's just Madeb to LMEM. And then Whiskey India 750 is the first waypoint of our RNAV approach, so we can clear the discontinuity because we're going to go from one straight to the other. And I'm just going to have a quick look at the approach chart, which I will show you on the stream in a moment. So yeah, Whiskey India 750 is the last point at which we need to be at 13,000 feet or above. And then once we engage approach mode, it should just take us all the way down to our minimums, which is nice. So while we're here, we'll go to the perf page. What's my favourite food? Ooh. Do you know, my very favourite meal is roast lamb. That's, yeah, roast lambs are out there. A really nice Italian pizza is probably a close second. But yeah, you can't beat a good roast meal. Approach. So much as we did with the takeoff settings, we need to input the metadata here. So we're going to go with a 030 at 13, although it is gusting to 23 still. Outside air temperature is now 10. QNH is 1006, which gives us a pressure altitude of 2,092 feet. Go over to the next page, and it's calculated our VREF and our V approach speed. So we'll send them to the PFD, and we'll get the little speed bugs showing up now. And that's pretty much it for the FMC. The only other thing we want to do is input our decision height in over here. So yes, that's right. So we scroll through the PFD menu to refs, although there is actually a refs button which we could use as well. Scroll through this, and we're going to be using baro refs because we're not doing precision approach. And the minimum for the RNAV Zulu is 2,900. So we'll do a bit of scrolly. And there it is, and you'll see it's coming alongside us here. Close that menu. And that's it. That's it. We are pretty much ready for our arrival. Not only did you put me on the spot, you made me check. Yes, indeed. Yeah. You've never had lamb? Okay. My favourite snack. Ooh, chocolate. It's just, yeah, chocolate. What's your favourite food and snack, Jimmy? Oh, too much flickering. Let's just stare at the floor for a bit, shall we? No, let's not. I like this view, but it's very, very noisy. Welcome back, Mason Jason Aviation. The one thing I wish about the internals on this aircraft is that the window edges were slightly crisper and everything was just a little bit higher resolution, but never mind. Nice. Yeah, I like a good pizza. So as always, the world and his mother is flying to Innsbruck at the moment, and just going to have a look at VATSIM and see how much separation we're likely to have. So there's a British Airways flight just ahead of us, coming from London City, funnily enough. Didn't see him depart. Never mind. He's at flight level 385, doing 471 knots ground speed. And we're at 450, doing 446 knots. So that gap should increase as we get closer. We've also got VTK045 inbound from Moscow, Sheremetyevo. I never know how to pronounce that. Got a 737 inbound from Bucharest. And those are the main three we need to keep an eye on, I think. But we can hold now, thanks to this mod, so if it looks a bit busy, we'll just hold overhead Elmem. How many days do I have off now? 5, including today. And then I'm back on days on Tuesday. This is a private jet, Mason Jason, so it's not an airline at all. But yes, you can think of it as the corporate arm of Filbert Flies. So we've got about half an hour left to run according to that overlay. Let's compare that with our progress page. Oh, spot on. Exciting. And we're about 100 and something miles, 140 odd miles from our top of descent. My favourite drink. Gosh, I'm a big beer drinker, but I like a variety of beer. I don't have a particular type that I prefer. Gosh, I sound like an alcoholic, don't I, saying I'm a big beer drinker? I don't drink beer that often, but that's probably my favourite tipple. And yeah, I drink quite a lot of coffee as well. One of the best airlines you've ever heard of. Yeah. Thank you, I agree. Although maybe you should wait for the landing before you make that judgment. So because we don't have any ATIS on at Innsbruck, we don't know exactly what the transition level is going to be. So I'm going to look for the transition altitude on one of the departure charts and add 1,000 to it. So transition altitude's 10, flight level 1, transition altitude is 10,000 feet. So we'll make transition level flight level 110. I couldn't possibly drink and fly, Caffel. I'd never dream of such a thing. What's your favourite drink, Hydromere? Actually, it seems unlikely that the transition level would be below our initial approach fix level, doesn't it? Let's use flight level 140. Because we have to be at 13,000 feet at Elmen. Oh, Pina Colada, yeah, it's a good call. Both runways have mountainous approaches, Mason Jason, so yeah, we'll see some mountains. Shall I show you the approach chart? Let's show you the approach chart. Here it is. So as you can see, Elmen is our initial approach fix, and we've got to be at 13,000 feet. Then we're going to proceed at 13,000 to Whiskey India 750. And then the aircraft, if it's working properly, which I believe it will be, should follow the RNAV descent all the way along the valley and down to the runway level. So if it works, it's a pretty easy procedure. If it doesn't work, then we'll hand fly and it'll probably still be fine. Outside view, you got it. I'll just turn the navigraph off. Yeah, I like an Aperol Spritz, but I've got to be in the mood for one. I've got to be somewhere hot, sitting outside, I think, for an Aperol Spritz, personally. Mind you, I could say the same about Pina Colada. It's much more of a holiday drink for me. You love water? Well, it's very healthy. As a child, I used to absolutely hate water. I couldn't drink it. So I always used to have juice. But now, yeah, if you're thirsty, there's nothing better. Well, we cover some topics on Filbert Flies, don't we? So let's set our altitude to flight level 130. No, 13,000 feet we decided, didn't we? And then the aircraft should start us down without us having to do anything at all as soon as we pass our top of descent point. What was the matter with water? I just didn't like the taste of it. Yeah, Mojito on a beach can't be beaten. Although I went to Cuba, which is the home of the mojito, and I didn't like them. I didn't like them as much. I found them too strong and not sweet enough. Still drank quite a lot of them because the rum was really good, but I think I'm not quite hardcore enough for a proper Cuban mojito. We've got 2 British Airways aircraft ahead of us now, both from London City. They must be friends, I imagine. But so we have got enough separation from them, I think. Yeah, that's true, Capital, actually. Hello, Zanis. No, you're not too late for the landing. Nice to see you. Is there a quick way to scroll through the altitude setting? Can you get... Yeah, you just scroll the mouse wheel quicker. It goes up in increments of 1,000, I think. Oh, are you? Nice. Yeah, I think yeah, mojitos really, you get them worldwide now, don't you? But yeah, particularly in Central and South America. So if you haven't already, it'd be great if you could click the thumbs up button if you're enjoying this and subscribe to the channel. The next flight I'll be doing is going to be tomorrow, flying from Gothenburg to Munich in the A320, and we'll be using your controls, so Kevin's going to be flying with me and he'll be the co-pilot. It's the same stream we tried to do last weekend and my internet connection failed. And then on Saturday I'm going to be doing a giveaway of Mako Simulations Birmingham during a flight from Vienna to Birmingham, also in the A320, so that's quite an exciting one. Both of those at 1400. And then on Sunday I'm going to be doing my first ever Club Filbert Silver members only stream, and we're going to be flying from Vienna to Skiathos. So yes, got a busy few days of streaming coming up. Thank you, Hydron. Yeah, so that's on Saturday. There's one in between. So on the Unicom text, we've got British Airways 684, who is 8 nautical miles away from Elmem. So he's well ahead of us. Gosh, so we've got 3 British Airways flights, 1 from Heathrow, 2 from City. Popular route, London to Innsbruck. Do you know, Jason, we haven't really discussed it. I know that at least, I think everyone who's in Club Filbert Silver wants to fly with me on VATSIM. But I was actually going to suggest we could do voice chat on Discord at the same time if people wanted to. Because it's the first one, I'm sort of playing it by ear at the moment, so I'll go with what the majority want to do. But I certainly will be, I will be talking on the stream as well. Yeah, I've got to practice that landing at Skiathos, I think. I've never done it. Don't want to show myself up, so I'll probably do that after this flight. Have a little short hop from somewhere to there. So you'll notice that we have 2 indicators here. We've got one that's showing a descent rate of 2,000 feet per minute, and we've got one that's showing our vertical profile. So once this gets to here, the aeroplane will start descending, and we've got a little top of descent indication flashing here as well. So it's always a little bit of a jerky start to the descent in this aircraft, but never mind. We'll turn on the anti-ice because we're going through a cloud layer shortly. Can I do a Q&A or a landing competition? Maybe. I don't know if I'm quite interesting enough to do a Q&A, but I'll consider a landing competition. Yeah, so far all of the silver members are VATSIM pilots. It's just coincidence. But, you know, people want to join Club Filbert Silver. There's obviously no obligation to fly with me. You can just watch it like a normal stream. In fact, that's what I intended. I was surprised that everyone wanted to fly it. But anyway, it should be fun either way. Can't become a member because you're on iOS. Oh, that's a shame. It doesn't let you do it on iOS. You have to have a web browser, I suppose, to. I hadn't thought of that as a potential problem. I know, I was expecting fewer clouds than this, Hydromere. Never mind, I mean if the live weather's okay, then we should have reasonable visibility as we get lower. Scattered clouds at 12,000, few clouds at 6,000, so yeah, we should have a little bit of Alps action. I would have thought there would be a join button even on iOS, but I'm not certain. Yeah, there's no real way of flying flying with us unless you are on VATSIM. If we're flying on VATSIM, Jason, that's the trouble. I was thinking of doing a gold tier as well when I set up Club Filbert, where I'd do sort of one-on-one group flights with people. But I decided well, there's two reasons I decided against it. I don't want Club Filbert to feel like it's excluding people, so I don't want to do huge, vast perks. And also, I just don't have the time, basically. It only says on Seniac and Creekcraft. I don't know what that means, Mason. Sorry. Yeah, it is a shame about the clouds, because as you may have seen on the thumbnail, the scenery around here is absolutely stunning. I have no idea what either of those things are. Sorry.
Landing gear.
Oh, what did I press? I pressed F8. I didn't mean to press F8. Ah, you can see some mountains now. Off in the distance, but they are there. Yeah, exactly. I don't ever want to do that. It's just... So the whole reason I set up Club Filbert was because I am spending an increasing amount of my life making YouTube videos and doing streams, and it would be nice to have a few quid here and there to help the hours of reviewing go by a bit quicker. But yes, I'm very keen not to make it exclusive and for it not to take over the channel, and that's why I'm still doing everything I did before for non-members, and I won't change that. I've never flown on IVAL, but my understanding is that it's a very similar thing, but slightly less professional, maybe? It's a little bit more relaxed, I think. So the controllers, for example, don't go through months and months of training, and I don't think you have to sit a test to become a pilot on there. But that's about all I know about the differences between them. Yeah, see, some people have told me that IVAL is much better for Europe and it has much better coverage, but whenever I've looked at the online map, that doesn't seem to have been the case. How's that for a view, eh? I have no idea how fast we're going, of course, or what my throttle setting should be, but I'll jump back and forth. Oh, you do still need to do training, do you? Okay. But you can use voice on it as well. So I'm a little bit worried about TRA 6610, which is inbound from Skiffle. They're coming from a different direction, but they're about the same distance out as we are. I really had hoped that there would be air traffic control on, because otherwise it's a little bit of a free-for-all here. Yeah, I suppose unless you find VATSIM a little bit intense, and it can be. If you get a shirty controller who has a go at you if you make a mistake, then it's not much fun, and I think there's probably less of that on IVAL. Oh, okay, it's more Eastern Europe, is it? Yeah, I'm really impressed with the UK coverage. We were unfortunate today not to have any London controllers on, but it is really quite active. Probably more so than anywhere else I've flown. And look at that, the clouds are just disappearing. Just as we had hoped. I've heard it, William. It's rare. Mostly they're really nice and very supportive, but there's the odd one who can be a little bit snarky. I heard someone mishear some instructions in Sweden, and the controller got quite uppity and said, very important you always have a pen and paper there. Just little things like that. No one's actively nasty, but I think sometimes you get the odd controller who lacks patience, perhaps. Pablo, hello, nice to see you. Are you better? And thank you. So I like to slow down nice and early for these approaches because they're quite steep and the aircraft can get ahead of you. So that's what I'm endeavouring to do at the moment. Yeah, as I say, Hydromir, it's rare. Most of them are very pleasant and very supportive, but there is the odd one who will have a go. I think we should probably stick the seatbelt sign on.
Attention, please. The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness.
Yes, true.
Time. Thank you.
So we have a speed constraint maximum of 175 knots at Whiskey India 751, which is here. So we'll try and bear that in mind. And because we're descending below the transition level, we'll set local pressure now. I'm glad you're on the mend. I'm sorry you have long COVID. I thought you probably did. Yeah, I've just got the throttle at idle. You don't need to use level change, flight level change on descent if you're following VPAR. And you just control the speed with the throttles. Yeah, stunning views. This is why I love Innsbruck. This and the challenging approach, although now we've got working RNAV, it shouldn't, touch wood, be too much of a problem. Yes, I have. I've flown a Cessna 152. I had a few lessons some time ago.
Altitude.
For some reason my VNAV seems to have turned off. Our V glide path, there we are, that's what we want. VGP. I'm going to use a little bit of speed brake to slow us down. And we'll extend flaps 1. And you can see we've now captured the glide path because we're below below 13,000 feet. And I'm reducing my speed because of traffic ahead. And we'll run the approach checklist. Landing data confirmed, crew briefing complete, flight instruments checked, minimum set, fuel transfer selector is off, stereo lights as required. We've got our landing lights on. Oops, I should have set that altitude lower. We can pretty much just set it to 0, to be honest. But we won't. We'll set it to our minimums, which are 2,000. No, we'll set it to 2,000 feet. Flaps are 15. Passenger briefing we haven't yet done, so we'll do that now. Passenger brief. Landing.
May I have your attention, please? We will be landing shortly. Please turn off all portable electronic devices, stow tables, secure luggage,
and we'll put the gear down to give us a little bit more drag.
Return your seat to the upright and outboard position. Extend your headrest and fasten your lap belt and shoulder buckles.
Passenger briefing is now sort of complete. Seats upright and outboard. Seat belts adjusted and secure. Passenger light safety button on. Approach checklist complete. And as you can see, we've got our VREF, our approach speed, just down here, so we're slowing down nicely for that. And what's our flap 2 maximum speed? Sorry, flaps 35. 160 knots, so we can extend them now, and that'll slow us down even more. And because we have an aircraft ahead of us, we don't want to be too quick. Just maintain VREF for now. Trainer there, yes. Oh, it's a pleasure, Smooth Fly. I'm glad you found it useful. It hasn't been a particularly popular one, but I didn't expect it to be. I just thought it might be useful for a few people. Dave, hello, nice to see you. Yeah, you did. So we are, as you can see, on our RNAV path. It's quite a long one. Still got about 25 nautical miles to run. We're fully configured. We've done the approach checklist. And we're being buffeted about all over the place because of the Alps. There's the wing, there's the wing. And I won't spend too long in this view because I'm too slow. Just reduce the range a little bit. Innsbruck traffic, Citation Golf Foxtrot Lima Bravo Tango on final runway 08 Innsbruck, ETE 07 minutes to landing. There's some interesting chat going on in the V-Pilot window. We've got someone inbound to runway 26, we think. And Speedbird 25 Alpha Whiskey is doing a fine job of coordinating arrivals to make sure that we have sufficient separation. We're going to have a little look at VATSPY. Yeah, we've definitely got an aircraft inbound on in the opposite direction. But he'll be clear before we get down. And I can actually increase my speed a little because the aircraft ahead of me has already landed, so we'll increase a little bit. I'm so used to flying this approach in an A320 or a 737, which is impossible to slow down. So I'm used to getting very.
Bird 25 Alpha Whiskey, are you in a hold?
Yep, at the moment, yes, we are indeed, sir.
Alright, let's see you pass right over me. I'm gonna proceed with the approach in that case.
Okay, well, there's another Speedbird 91 Tango that's on approach as well. He's following a very slow Cessna, so be aware of that.
Acknowledged, thank you.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was talking about slowing down nice and early. But in this aircraft, I think we can afford to get a little bit of speed on. Because it's easier to slow down than an airliner. Beautiful, isn't it? I think perhaps he thinks I'm a little 152 or something, but I was deliberately going slow because there was traffic ahead of me, and now there isn't. I'm trying to be a little bit more considerate by slowing up, by speeding up. and we get our first glimpse of the runway down there. Just here. Oh, that's interesting. Track IR works in the cabin. I didn't know that. Because right-clicking the mouse button and dragging does not work.
Golf Foxtrot, Lima Bravo Tango. Can we get a better speed out here? I'm literally up your ass.
I'm doing 150 knots. I'll try and bump it up a little bit for you. Golf Foxtrot, Lima Bravo Tango.
Yeah, well, we're going 180 here at the moment, so we might pass you here.
I mean, he should have held really, then I would have said. Yeah, it's tricky. My V approach is 109, so I don't want to go too much faster than this. But if you end up passing me, so be it. Golf Foxtrot Lima Bravo Tango.
Oh, roger, thank you.
Ah, I know, VR would be amazing. I mean, I'm not going around if he passes me. I'm just going to land. And if I have to land through him, I'll land through him. Yeah, it's tricky though. It's tricky. Right, I do need to slow down now. Pappies don't look like they're working, do they? Maybe we are a little on the high side. Let's take manual control.
Altitude.
Minimums.
Continue. Turn the yaw damper off. Before landing checklist, flaps 35, gear down. Airspeed VREF, well, we're getting there. Autopilot and yaw damper disengaged.
500.
Well, maybe the pappies here just don't work. I'm not sure. I think they don't. We're definitely below the glide path now. That's a shame. I think they do work in the other direction, but as I said earlier, this is my first approach to 08. Have a tendency to veer left, this aircraft. And we'll keep the speed up because we want to get out of the off the runway before we have an aircraft going through us. Too much snow, I can't see the exit. There it is. Innsbruck traffic, Citation Golf Foxtrot Lima Bravo Tango, runway vacated.
Perfect, thank you. Speedbird 901 Tango, fully established.
That wasn't bad, was it? That wasn't bad. Okay, we'll get the strobes off. We'll get the taxi light on and the landing lights off, which apparently we've already done. That's good. And we'll taxi. We'll do our after landing checklist a little later so that we can make way for inbound arrivals. packed, isn't it? Absolutely packed. Roll on it. Thank you very, very much for the donation. I appreciate it. And yes, I hope to see you on another one soon as well. Where should we park? Should we just squeeze it in? Squeeze it in next to this little Piper. Don't know if this is technically a parking spot, but everywhere else seems to be full. Oops. Slippy. I can't leave it like this. I've got to straighten it up a little bit, haven't I? Good. I think that will do.
Speedbird 901 Tango to Innsbruck.
There's the Speedbird showing up as a generic yellow jobby, but never mind. Right, let's just run the after landing checklist. Speed brakes. Retracted. Flaps. 0 now. Pitot static heat. Off. Anti-ice off. Radar. Which I should have turned off as soon as we exited the runway, but you'll have to forgive me, there's a lot of pressure. Oh, maybe I'd already turned it off. Strange, I'm sure I had it on. Anyway, so that's that off. We'll turn the TCAS mode to standby. Exterior lights. Well, we can turn off the taxi light, we can turn off... That's it for now, actually. And we'll move on to the shutdown checklist. Parking brakes set. Emergency light switch is in op. Standby flight display switch is also in op. Avionics switch off. Climate control selector. Where's that? I've lost it. There it is. Off. Throttles idle. Engine run stop buttons. Stop. And up pops the stupid thing. Exterior lights. Off.
Oral warning, okay.
Battery switch. Off. Control it we don't need. Engine covers install. Well, someone else can do that, can't they? Welcome, everybody, to Innsbruck. And here we are. Just dumped in the middle of the apron, but nonetheless, here we are. I enjoyed that. That was a good flight and a better landing than I'd hoped for. I'll just catch up with your chat. Pappy's broken because of the guy behind you. Oh, I wonder if that does have an impact. Shouldn't do. But it might. Butter, my friend, yeah, thank you. It was weather any of it because the wind is coming from the left. Yeah, it's probably true. Well done. Thank you, Echo. Thank you, Caffel. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, LDR. Not too bad weather, no gusty winds and the clouds clear. Well, there were gusts, but they weren't too bad. We were expecting gusts of 35 knots, and I don't think we saw anything quite like that. Every year I'd love to go skiing. I've never been skiing, but when you come into an airport like this, you just want to see more snow and more mountains and go down them, don't you, really? It was a nice flight. Thank you, Evidence, please. Glad you enjoyed it. Beep, 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 indeed. Beautiful Innsbruck. Very nice flight. Thank you. Thank you all. Let's watch this plane land, shall we? It seems a shame to miss this opportunity to watch a little bit of Innsbruck activity. Was this your first stream, Hydromir? I didn't know that. Your name is so familiar. Must be from the Discord though, rather than the streams, I guess. So yes, I mean, I'll say once more, if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you haven't clicked thumbs up, please do. You can join my Discord server to keep up to date with everything that's going on. And the next stream will be tomorrow at 1400 Zulu. And it'll be a shared cockpit live stream, so something a little bit different in the A320. It should be fun, as long as my internet connection doesn't drop out like it did last time we tried it. Oh, it was your third, right? Okay. Oh, it's nice to have you back then. And I think Orbex's Innsbruck scenery is still one of my favourite add-ons. We've got flashier sceneries. It's quite old, the textures aren't the best, but in terms of atmosphere, it's very hard to beat it. Ah, that's right, I remember you as Not as well. I've decided we can't possibly get down to the end of the runway by the time he touches down. Thank you, Roll On It. It's been lovely having your company, and thank you once again for the donation. That's really kind of you. So yes, hopefully see you tomorrow. And we'll just watch this one land and vacate the runway, and then I think we'll call it a day. This is Yankee Romeo Sierra Charlie Yankee coming in now. It's a Boeing 737 from Bucharest. No problem at all, William. Thank you very much for coming. And hope to see you on another one soon. Oh, he's taking his time, isn't he? I saw his lights in the distance. I thought, oh, I'll be down in half a minute. It's an X-plane, boys. How do you know that? Because it's a 737, or is there some other way of telling? Looked pretty good, didn't it? A lot of generic aircraft today. Don't know if my IVAO model matching has stopped working for some reason, or what, or if it just doesn't contain the right liveries. Glorious time of day to arrive as well, isn't it? Look at that sky. Sukhoi, hello! Nice to see you, and Bart Yan, thank you, and yeah, see you tomorrow. I look forward to it. Yeah, you missed quite a successful landing, Sukhoi. Ah, right. These things happen. I'm a little bit worried about that happening to Kevin as well. He's going to be co-piloting tomorrow, but we'll see. Can always delay it a little bit if need be. Yeah, everything looks like it's slammed down though in this sim. Not in the sim, but on VATSIM. I don't know why. Perhaps it is because people on other sims have different elevations. That could be it. So who's this one? I didn't even see him arrive. Or maybe he's just pushed back. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's have one last look at the Golf Foxtrot Lima Bravo Tango. Beautiful aircraft. And I think all that's left to say is thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow hopefully. Take care and goodbye.